Hey guys, Liana here, playing the Escapists again. I escaped the last prison, so I'm in a new one, and it's much harder. So, there we are. That's what you get in the starting screen. You get a little welcome letter. And no, I'm just gonna... This one's hard because there's 3 roll calls a day, and then there's a metal detector on the cafeteria, which sucks. It means you can't take weapons into the cafeteria. Boil, okay, I can do that. So you may notice I've named some of the guards. Whoopsie, I'm taking damage, but I named them Reddit mods because that's what I'm going to talk about today. Let's just make sure I don't get my cell searched. Not there's anything in there right now. But yeah, a few people, well, more than a few people have asked me, what do you think about the Reddit mod leaks thing? And I read them. I felt it was, no surprise. It's possibly, the first thing that there's been, categorical evidence that things were exactly as, Gamergate people were saying they were. It wasn't a coincidence. It wasn't, an echo chamber. It was actually people working to kick people off for having an opinion. But the other thing I noticed is that, I don't know, my personal take on the whole thing is that the behavior in those chats was no surprise to me whatsoever. None. It's exactly the behavior of people who do volunteer management work. And I'm not saying all volunteer work, because, volunteer charity work is something different. You're doing it for charity, right? But people, and I say this based on years and years and years of convention running, I just find that people who get into that sort of thing, they spend hours and hours and hours of their life doing something that puts no money in their pocket or no food in their belly or no roof over their head. That's what you get. It's all a clique and it's all a power trip and it's all about trying to make that little corner of the world exactly the way they want it to be. That's what it tends to look like. And I stopped convention running myself. I started getting out of it more and more when we had these, I was on the board of a convention and we had these weekly meetings that went 4 hours long. 4 bloody hours. And I used to go into the ladies' room in the numerous smoke breaks we were forced to have because some people were chain smokers. And I'd be in the stall and I'd listen to the organizer of the event talk about people. And, that's one of those things that it's like, if they're talking about other people, they're talking about you. No question ever. Like, don't even doubt that. If somebody is gossiping in the washroom about, it was about people's medical information. That's what killed me. We all had to fill out these medical forms. I thought it was a bit sketch in the first place, but they're like, if you're unconscious at an event, we have to know what's wrong with you. All right, fine. So we were all disclosing our, very personal medical information. And she was gossiping about what antidepressants people were on in the bathroom. This was supposed to be the person running the event. And that's when I just went, forget it. I can't do this anymore. I can't be a part of that. Because then you're in the situation, right, of Do you speak up and make things really difficult for yourself? Or do you say nothing and be part of the problem? You know, it's a very, very difficult situation to be in. And so I just, you know, tried to step away. I couldn't step away, drinking tea. I couldn't step away easily because, you know, of course, the minute you're out of the in-group, they start gossiping about you, and all this crazy stuff started flying around about me, which was all insane. You know, I really need to start being more interesting because I gotta start giving people honest stuff to talk about me regarding, because I'm tired of the lying. I just need to do something really bad so people have that and they can just, you know, hit me with that. Because the making stuff up, I don't like encouraging people to lie. That's a joke. But so I thought of that when I saw the Reddit mod stuff, and it's like, this is the same crap. This is the same stuff. This is just people on a power trip. It's people who shouldn't be in charge of anything and likely aren't in charge of anything in the real world. Because when you put people who have no management skills in management positions, and I don't know what the criteria for Reddit mods is, but, you know, clearly it's not strict enough because of what I saw. And of course, then it's come out that they allow racist subreddits and all that. No kidding? Like, why is this news to anyone? I mean, Reddit likes to see itself as a more adult or a more a more, how do I put this? Oh, that's the infirmary. The more grown up or the more mature alternative to 4chan or now 8chan, but it's really not. It's just different. And this is why I don't post on Reddit. You know, I don't post on 4chan, I don't post on 8chan, because if you're not there ever, no one can claim you're sock puppeting. If I don't have a primary account, I'm not sock puppeting. I just don't go there. Because also, you know, when you're there and people are talking shit about you, and you know it's nonsense, the urge is to sort of set the record straight. That's never a good idea. Ever. Because Reddit is moderated. And moderated means clique. When you're in an online forum where nobody's reputation is on the line outside of Reddit because nobody even knows who the person is. But then you get into all that doxing nonsense. That, you know, oh, we know who you are now. And if you gotta really wonder why people's identities are such valuable commodities that people do that. Like, I always find that really interesting that, well, this is new, I'll figure this out later. I've always found that really interesting that people prize identity so much online that they have to steal it. You know, that's quite something when that becomes the thing that is the currency of the internet. And it really is. Identity has become the currency of the internet. But, you know, on a service like Facebook, on a service like Twitter, there are actual people with their names and faces out there with business reputations to uphold. And with all the problems of Facebook and Twitter, at least there's some accountability in the corporate process. There is a corporate process, right? It's not somebody able to do anything they want because their name's not on it. You know what I'm saying? A Reddit mod, who are you? You know? Who is a Reddit mod in real terms? Nobody. You don't know their names, you don't know their faces, you don't know any of that. So what rationale is there to keep, what benefit do they have to behaving well? They don't have any. There's no benefit. I'm being chased by a cop, if you're wondering what I'm doing. Being chased by, who is it? Yeah, I'm being chased by a Reddit mod. See, they hear me talking about him. No, go away, Reddit mod. Hey, I can craft a sock mace and whoop you. I'm gonna whoop you with a sock puppet. Yeah. Whoop. Oh, hit me back. See, that's what happens on Reddit all the time. And now I'll get my sock confiscated. Kind of metaphor. But like that's the thing. Actually, that brings an interesting point to mind. Thank you, game. The thing about these, that's not my desk. I cannot find my cell. Okay, I'm gonna move my damn, once I find it, I'm gonna move my damn desk because this prison is huge and I can't find it. Is this me? No. Oh yeah, that's me. Owen. Have you guys seen that movie, Throw Mom Off on the Train? It's kind of an old movie. But, see, this is the thing. When you get, and I learned this from back in the day on, you know, message boards before they were organized like Reddit is, that when you're on these boards, I was on a bunch of toy collector message boards, if you guys wonder what boards I was on. When a moderator decides to throw their weight around on a board, unless you're friendly with another moderator, there is nothing you can do about it. And if you are friends with another moderator, that means you're getting special treatment if you complain because you're a friend, right? When it's an actual corporation with people's names and business reputations on the line, that doesn't happen as much. I mean, it does happen, but if they get caught, you know, they're in big trouble. And it doesn't just affect them that day, it can affect their entire careers. They can even go to jail if it's bad enough. With these, I mean, anybody who goes on the internet expecting fairness when there's anonymity, it's designed to not be fair. It's designed to create these raging cliques, and it may seem okay for a while because you're part of the club that, you know, you're part of the club that is benefiting from the lack of fairness. But the minute you hit that other side, the minute you're on the outs, you're gonna find out that it's not overall good. There has to be the same rules for everybody. And on something like Reddit, I mean, I've seen it. I've watched it. I mean, Reddit by its very nature, they, you know, there are different subreddits with different rules, and I'll be damned if I can keep them all straight. You know, like, what does this subreddit's rules do? Oh, you can't say anything bad about goats on this subreddit. You know, like, they're fiefdoms. They're little fiefdoms. And the thing about fiefdoms is, you know, they have lords of the manor. And if you cross the lord of the manor, you're screwed. Like, it's feudal law on the internet. It's not a democracy. And that's something very important to remember. And I mean, every group has their rules and they can boot you out, and everybody's blog is somebody's blog and you can't tell them what to do with it and all that stuff. And we believe that's a form of freedom. And if people carried on fairly, it would be. But the internet is a study in chaos theory. Everything clicks along great until somebody, one person, decides to be a jerk. And once that happens, Punchy, why can't I get your quest? Oh, it doesn't matter, I have a ton, I haven't completed anyway. You know, once one person decides to be a jerk, somebody else decides to jerk back. And then somebody else goes, oh, you two think you're jerks? I'm gonna be an even bigger jerk, because everybody gets scared and freaked out because they recognize there really aren't that many safeguards. And You know, once that starts happening, forget it. Your community is just toast. Because if you don't treat everybody the same way, then the house of cards crumbles. And Reddit's probably gonna survive this. Probably, I don't know. Because they can just say, oh, it's one subreddit, they can start. I mean, apparently they're banning people again. So they haven't learned, right? They haven't learned. But I think that tastemaker status is going to get hurt because those things spread through. I mean, internet communities are like little online small towns of tens of thousands of people. And so they're inherently gossipy as all anything. And that's why I stay off these boards. I used to be on message boards all the time. Because I mean, it was a way to meet people with similar interests, right? But now I'm like, we have Twitter, we have Facebook. There comes a point in time where you realize that it's much better to cultivate a fewer number of real in-person online friendships. And then if you happen to meet someone cool online, great. It's like extra credit. But trying to rely on the internet for your entire social life, it's just way too easy for people to hide who they really are. And I find it really interesting that people are so up in arms and spreading this stuff everywhere instead of being, yes, see, we told ya. I would have expected less freak out because I would have expected this to be, expected. And I haven't figured out what the, oh my God, it's so bad means. Like, what was it, the outright idiocy and cliquishness of the mod logs? Because I mean, I've seen mod chats, they're all that bad. Like, no guys, really, every mod chat I've ever been in has been that juvenile. And that's why I'm really uncomfortable with private correspondence in groups now on the internet. I'm very aware that it's not a casual environment. I'm very careful now what I say in every Twitter conversation, like direct message stuff and, Facebook private messages, unless I know the person extremely well, and then my paranoia goes down to 50%. And that's just because I have had extremely innocent things I've said online. When I was pissed off and hurt and, really reeling, people have taken those things. People have taken me venting, me saying, I could do this. I could screw this person up, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna see what happens. Well, guess what they screen capped and sent to, certain petty online tabloids? The part where I said I was gonna do something. What they didn't send is the part where I said I wasn't going to. And that changes the message entirely. It wasn't a forged log, it was a partial log, and that's all you need to do. And then all they have to do is block you on Twitter, and then their whole side of the conversation disappears from your view. I hate that about Twitter. It's so easy to destroy a paper trail of what you said. Just block the person. And so we've got these communication tools that we're stuck with using because they're popular, but they're heavily flawed. Now, what's the difference between Twitter and Reddit in that case, right? Well, Twitter, the CEO is now on the hot seat because there's stuff spilling over into the real world. And he's saying, okay, we have to take this seriously. He should have been saying that years ago, but I know what it was like in tech a few years ago. There's a conference in Banff, which is a place in Alberta, not the sound Nightcrawler makes, but yes, it's the sound Nightcrawler makes too. There's a conference called Next Media, and I was there years and years and years ago, and I decided not to go back because I really didn't like what I was hearing. At the time, this was when they were all excited about these geotagged apps, the stuff that you can use your phone to recommend a shoe store in the area based on, based on whatever location you're at. It was actually reading your location from your phone. And my first thing was this security. How's this gonna work? And so I asked, what security features are you putting in to prevent this from becoming a stalking tool in the wrong hands? They had no answer. And this was years and years ago when I still worked actively in television. And, that's, when you hear that, when people have no plan for security, it's going to get rough for a while. And so I went, okay, this is coming. And so a lot of this stuff has not surprised me. Because you guys may notice that I'm not afraid to go there. I'm not afraid to do the tough talk. I'm not afraid to ask the tough questions. That should make me what's considered an ethical person. Instead, it's got me labeled as, a creator of drama. And this is the thing, when you're working in these little online cliques, people can label you anything they want. And people have this innate survival instinct to go with the herd. And so if somebody with a powerful enough megaphone declares me drama, that's gonna get repeated, and people don't even realize why they're doing it. It's just such an innate human thing. Survival instincts are called instincts for a reason. And so people think they're thinking freely. People think they're thinking factually. What they're actually doing is going with the herd, because they're priming. I've seen a lot of stuff about priming lately, and that's very good. But I wonder how many people who are talking about priming actually see how priming works in their own lives. Because it takes an extreme amount of discipline, of mental and emotional discipline, to really free yourself from priming. I'm not sure that anybody can be completely free of it. I know I've sort of heard things about people, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna reserve judgment, but then it's still in the back of your head, right? And so you gotta be very, very careful, and I'm not gonna tell people not to use Reddit. Because, let's face it, some people have built their communities. Like, their online life is on Reddit. You can't just ask somebody to take that away, but I think instead of getting all up in arms and angry, which does nothing, it's important to take this as an understanding of what the tool you're using is and does. And I think that's probably the sanest way to go about this, because we can't do anything about it. We can't change Reddit. I'm not sure, it probably doesn't have stock on a stock exchange. That's what keeps Twitter and Facebook honest, right? They're publicly traded companies, or, as honest as corporations get. But, that's pretty much the only thing you can do in the current internet paradigm, is be aware. And be aware of what these tools are and what they aren't. And that means it won't own you. It's amazing how much online communities can just take over, the way you think, the way you feel, the way you respond to people. I was on the subway a week back, I guess, and I was, you couldn't help but overhear these two guys. They were nicely dressed guys. They were, real trendy dudes. But because they were speaking so loudly, I could overhear their conversation, and every fourth word was salty or salt. And I was like, I know where you've been hanging out. You spend a lot of time on the internet. And that's how the internet, that's how anything we spend a ton of time in changes our perspective on the world. And it's important to keep that in mind. I've had to have a few checks like that myself in terms of, how I speak, because I spend a lot of time around the gaming community, and we have our own language and the way of talking, and what's considered okay in our circles is considered, you know, horribly offensive in others, and it's something to keep in mind that I needed a big check on. So, you know, it's very important to keep in mind how the people we associate affect us, so we can stay free thinkers, and we can approach the word, hey look, Boogie. Boogie's in my game. I love Boogie. Boogie's love. See, if more people like Boogie, we wouldn't have to worry about this stuff. But, yeah, that's my video for the day. And now I have to go to physiotherapy. Yay, pain. But it's pain for my own good. But take care, guys. Thanks for your watch. And subscribe if you feel so inclined. I hate asking for people to subscribe because I think it's duh. Of course, if you like something, you subscribe. But I understand that no, it's important to ask. So subscribe, please. Thank you.